Hello everyone, this is Jason for Primetime Aquatics, and in this video we are going to be giving you a long-term update on the Marineland Emperor 450 Pro Series hang on the back filter. We've had this filter for about a year now. We did an original unboxing. I will put that in the description below if you want more information, but now that we've had it for a while, I thought now would be a great time to talk about what we really like about the filter and some things you should think about if you want to purchase a hang on back filter in this price category and in this size category. Hope you enjoyed the video and I appreciate you being here. All right, so this monster is the Marineland Emperor 450 Pro Series hang on back filter. As the name implies, it will filter 450 gallons per hour. We have it on our 150 right behind us, and this thing has done a fantastic job, and I want to talk about why we like it and of course some things that we need to think about. So it is a big filter. As you can see, it does push 450 gallons per hour. The cost of these filters currently on Amazon run around mid-70s, $73 to $75, which puts the price point right in line with some of its competitors. For instance, the AquaClear 110 is somewhere around that $80 mark, and the Seachem Tidal 110 is somewhere around the same. So all of these filters are just within a few dollars of one another. If you are interested in this filter, I will put an Amazon affiliate link down in the description below. Highly recommend check it out. I would definitely take a look at this in addition to the other filters you may be thinking about. Let's talk about what I like about this one first, and then we'll talk about some of the concerns. The first thing I really love about the Marineland filters in general is that they have a very slim design. And so this thing, you don't have to move the tank too far away from the wall because you don't have a lot of compartment width here that you have to deal with. That's a good thing. It's wider than some of the other filters, but it's not as thick, so that you can get this thing in between your wall and your tank. If you've been using another brand of filter, this is probably one of the thinner ones on the market, and so therefore you probably aren't going to have to adjust your tank away from the wall. If you've got a larger tank, that can mean a big deal if you have to move that away. So let's open this up. Again, this has been on this tank, so it's going to be dirty. It's what we've been using for a year. There is a lid. Now, I've already kind of undone the lid. It comes on hinges, and for the most part, I really like it because it does stay open. So when you're maintaining your filter, the lid will stay open. It doesn't fall apart. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this lid off, and we can see the internal parts of the filter. Again, it's dirty. I'm sorry. We've been using it, so this is not an unboxing. One of the things I really like is the fact that you do have adequate compartmentalization back here for filter media. And so what comes with the Emperor 450 is you get a couple of these plastic cartridges, and you can put filter media inside, whether that's some filter floss or something else, you know, carbon bags. But the nice thing is you get a couple of these, and so you get two of them on either side, but you still have another compartment back here, another row where you can put additional filter media. Now, this particular filter does come with packaged media. Let me go ahead and get it for you. They look like this. I don't have them in the wrapper anymore, sorry, but this is a new one. It's got carbon on one side, filter floss on the other. Now you can buy these and they just slip right in just like this, so it just goes right in. All right. And that's all you have to do. Very, very simple to change out the media. The downside to that, of course, this is something I've mentioned in just about every hang on the back filter video I've ever done, is of course these cartridges can be expensive. And so what I typically do is I will buy my own filter floss. I will put a link for that down, affiliate link down in the description below. If you want to purchase that, it will save you a ton of money. And the nice thing is you can take that filter floss, put it in here, or you can just, what we normally do is, because we only have two of these for the filter, we've got two of these. So what we'll do is we'll just take the filter floss and kind of push it behind that gray cartridge and the back of the filter itself. It works fine. It catches everything we need to catch for mechanical filtration. So again, that affiliate link will be down in the description below if you want to save money on filter cartridges. And by the way, that little tip and trick will work with any hang on the back filter, not just the Marinelands. So there's adequate, more than adequate filtration capacity in the back. The one thing I will say is sometimes the argument when we're comparing filters is, oh, well, this filter's got a bigger compartment for more filter media. That may be true, but what I have found, and we've got 80 tanks in our fish room right now, is when it comes to biological filtration, all hang on the back filters, as long as they are appropriately sized for the tank, have more than enough, way more than enough capacity for biological filtration, the ability of microbes to adhere to a surface and accomplish the nitrification cycle where you're going from ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate. So that has never really been a concern of mine. So if you've got a filter that's like, well, this is going to have a bigger compartment, holds more media, that's fine, but chances are you're going to have more than enough no matter what filter you buy for that size tank. The other thing that we have going on here is there actually is more media. Hold on, let me see if I can get this out of here without breaking the whole thing. There's actually more capacity for media, and that's this center compartment here. So right in the center, this thing just kind of lays in here. Now you can see, as I take this thing apart, this thing can hold a filter bag, and so Marineland, let me get the stuff for you here. Marineland sells these filter bags that you can use for placing inside of here, and then there is other media that you can use. So here we've got the K2 biological media that they sell that can go in here. They also have, for tanks that are having issues, you've got the ammonia reducing resins. I don't generally use this stuff, but again, the option is here. If you want even more filtration, you can put it in the center. And then of course they also sell this. And this is a micron filter that can be reused. It just slides right in place of this thing. And you've got even more capacity for biological and mechanical filtration. So there is more than enough for a tank that is spec'd for this size filter. Again, 450 gallons per hour. Now we use this, like I said, on our 150, but we also have a couple sponge filters in there as well for biological filtration. The other thing is the Emperor series has this spray bar that is going to spray the bio wheels so that they spin, and that is even more capacity then for biological filtration, housing microbes, surface area to house microbes that are going to allow us to accomplish the nitrification process. One of the other cool things I really like about this filter is the fact that this compartment back here, this thing, I had this on backwards actually, sorry. It goes like this. So the other nice thing is this is adjustable. So this area here, you can turn it up, you can turn it down. We generally, on our tank in the back right there, we have this thing on full blast, 450 gallons per hour. But if you are somebody who maybe has a smaller tank but wants this larger capacity, you can turn down the flow. I highly recommend, if you are going to be buying a hang-on back filter, that is one of those things that pretty much at this point hang-on back filters should have. If you're looking at a filter that does not have the ability to adjust the flow, you might want to start looking elsewhere. Now, one of the other things I really, and this is my favorite thing about this filter by far. In fact, I am at a point now where this one feature is an absolute must for me if we bring any hang-on back filters into our fish room, and that is this. This is the actual motor that this Emperor filter uses. So the impeller's in here, super easy to access. You just turn this thing off, twist it off, and we've got the impeller motor here, and then of course it just twists back on. Now, again, it's relatively easy, just press it in and you turn it. The thing is, with this being in the water, this filter is absolutely silent. I cannot hear it. In fact, to this day, every year, or every day that I come down here for the last year, I actually have to look in the 150 to make sure this thing is running. My boys do all the fish tank maintenance and the filter maintenance, and so I just want to make sure that things are running properly when I come down and feed the fish and just enjoy the fish room. And every day I come down here and I just kind of look at the 150 right behind me here, make sure this thing is running, because I can't hear it. I cannot hear this thing at all. And that to me is, again, there's two things. One, I already mentioned that when it comes to hang-on back filters, you want something that is going to be absolutely silent. At this point, I think with hang-on back filter technology, there are a couple that do this really well. This one, the Seachem Tidal 150 that I've already mentioned, do that very well. You simply don't hear these filters when they are running. Now, with this impeller being in the tank, the really great advantage to a filter like this is not only is it quiet, it's self-priming. So if you have a power outage, if something goes wrong and the power to the filter gets cut off, as long as the power comes back on, this is already in the water, it's going to self-prime. You don't have to fill the back of this thing and make sure it's filled with water. A lot of the other filters that have the impeller actually in the filter compartment itself, if it goes down and it loses that suction, now you hear the filter grinding. This isn't going to happen with filters that have this internal impeller. That is hugely important. And it's also, again, it's going to keep it nice and quiet. And of course, the other thing is the adjustable flow. So this has both of them. Now, again, absolutely really like this filter. It is a go-to. We also have a lot of the Marineland Penguin 375 Pro series that have also been absolutely silent. So that's a lot of the good when it comes to this filter. The other thing I really like about this filter is you can see the intake down here. It is adjustable. So for our 150, that's a big deal because it's a taller tank. So this is actually adjustable down here. Again, sorry, it's all wet. I just pulled it out of the tank, kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Here you go. But Marineland kind of thought this through. This part down here, this bottom part can actually come off and you can put an intake sponge that they sell, of course, right over the intake. So that's pretty cool. So if maybe you're someone who wants that extra mechanical and biological filtration, there is yet another piece of media that can go right over the intake. This part comes off, the other part slides on, and now you can change that part out instead of having to change the media. Now, we found that when maintaining this filter, it was just easier for us to not have that part on, change out the media on the top, rather than digging into the tank, which is a hard tank for us to maintain because it's so tall. And so we just decided to take that intake filter, pre-filter off and use this. But if you're someone who's maybe got fry in your tank, or you've got shrimp or something you don't want getting sucked up into the intake, they do sell the sponges specifically made for this filter. Okay, so those are some of the things that I really love about this filter. Is there anything you should be looking out for, any potential downsides? And there are a couple. I consider them to be relatively minor, but it's something you are going to want to consider. So the first thing, this intake, where this thing is located, the actual impeller and the motor, the way it sits on the tank, a lot of people have discovered, and I have discovered this myself, both with this and the Penguin 375s, this is too thick to allow most glass lids to fit flush on your tank. Now for us, it really isn't a big deal. I don't care at all. The front part of the glass lid sticks up about this much on the front of the tank. Just because this thing doesn't completely fit flush, it doesn't bother me at all. For some people, that might bother them. So if you're someone who has to have the absolute perfect lid on your tank, super completely tight fitting, that might be a problem for you. Again, to me, it's a very minor issue and not one that I really consider to be an issue at all. The second thing, and this, I actually read some reviews because I wanted to go on Amazon and see what people were saying, in case I missed something, a downside. And it's amazing to me how many people get upset when these bio wheels don't spin. I could care less. I could not care less about these bio wheels spinning. In fact, in some of these filters, I just take them off. And here's the deal. The bio wheels, in theory, could potentially give you extra biological filtration. The microbes are going to stay wet as the spray bar sprays the bio wheels and they spin. And therefore, you're going to have all this extra surface area for biological filtration. But here's the deal. As I've already mentioned in the beginning of this video, even the compartment itself is going to have more than enough capacity for biological filtration to convert ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate. So while these are a nice little added feature, and it's a nice thought, if they stop working, it is not going to matter at all when it comes to the ability of this filter with this big compartment and a well-established tank to accomplish biological filtration. It just doesn't matter. If it bothers you, take them off. But for us, if they stop moving, and by the way, they really don't stop moving on this as much because of the spray bar that they have here. But for some of them, yes, once in a while they will stop moving. I would tell you, if they do, it doesn't really impact the ability of your filter to do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so those are the two things that I think you should watch out for. Obviously, the one where your glass lids may not fit completely flush is probably, to me, the bigger one than these things if they stop spinning temporarily or even permanently. So the bottom line is this. When it comes to hang-on back filters, I have about 80 tanks in our fish room. If I had to pick a brand, one brand to stick with, and I had to put hang-on back filters on all my tanks, which wouldn't be possible because of how many we have, but if that were the case, this would absolutely be one of the filters, brands of filters, the Marineland Pro series that I would consider, because they are super quiet, because they are self-priming, because they have an adjustable flow. All of those things I like a lot. And we've got the old Marineland Penguin 350s running in our fish room. They've been running for a decade or more, and they still are pushing water through the filter and doing their job. So highly recommend, check out this filter if you're looking for a new hang in the back. Again, there will be Amazon affiliate links down for both the filtration media and the filter itself. Really appreciate you being here. Would love to hear from you if you have used the Marineland Emperor 450. What are your thoughts? If you enjoyed this video, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.